Hi everyone, I'm the plant propagator and welcome to my channel. If you're interested in learning a little bit more about what I do, please subscribe to my channel. Today I want to share with you a video that I've been putting off for a long time and I'm not sure why. So I want to talk with you today about crossing orchids, and today I have this beautiful cattleya that I'd like to cross and share with you how that cross is done and how you harvest the pollen or the pollinia from this, how it's stored, and how you track your pollinia and the crosses that you make. So the pollinia in here, these orchid flowers are a little bit different from any of the other flowers that at least I worked with in the past and that you may have. So it's not. These orchids produce not individual pollens per se, but they produce sacs or collections of pollen that are together assembled to call in a structure called a pollinia. And the pollinia are these sacs that are used to make the pollinations. Orchids have most flowers have between 2 and 6 pollinia. And these are, again, these sacs of pollen have to be removed and then used to make a pollination. I'm doing this today because I'm pretty excited, because yesterday I was at an orchid show and I showed up at the end of the show, and as people were taking their orchids home and their flowers home and their collections home, I asked them if I could use a little bit of their pollinia. So I collected pollinia from flowers of some of these plants, and then I'm going to use some of those pollinia in my crosses today. I also promised them progeny, or the seedlings that I'll make from these crosses. So I have a recent collection of pollinia. The pollinia, I should say, so I store them in a certain way, and they can be stored and maintained for a year, maybe 2, but I think a year is a pretty safe time where you can collect and store pollinia. And the advantage of that is you don't always have to have the flower open when you make the crosses, at least using the pollinia, the male parent. So this is the seed, going to be the seed parent in this case, and I actually am going to harvest the pollinia from this flower and show you what that looks like, and I'll save this for a future cross. I've already actually made a self of this plant. This is Mishima Victory. And I made a self of this already, so I don't need this, and those plantlets are pretty far along. And so what I'm going to do is harvest the pollinia, save the pollinia from this plant for another cross, and then I'm going to use the pollinia from a flower that I collected yesterday to cross onto this. I'll make a second cross also on this. There's 2 flowers here, and I'll make a second cross with a second flower with an older pollinia that I have. I haven't really determined what I'm going to use with that yet. So first of all, the pollinia flower, the pollinia are stored in what's called the anther cap, which is right, and I have my forceps that I'm going to be using for this. People, a lot of times, I should say, they use toothpicks, and that works fine. I just really like using the forceps because it lets me grab the pollinia nicely and very accurately place them where they go. But the pollinia are actually stored in the anther cap, which is at the end of the flower right here. And I'll get a little closer and I'll show you exactly what this looks like in just a minute. And the pollinia are then excised from there. What I do is I store the pollinia in these the microfuge tubes, and these are the same tubes that I use for spinning down the seed. If I get mature seed that splits from the capsule, I'll put the seed in here and I'll sterilize it and spin it down. So these are the same types of containers that I use. These then are the pollinia are placed in here. The top is then snapped closed. I should show you that. So it's got a little snap top right here. The top is then closed, and then the pollinia are placed in this type of storage box. So this is a grid system. This is A1 right here, and as you go across the top left, it goes A1 through A10, and then the second row is B, And these are labeled in this box. You don't need anything this elaborate, but these are actually boxes that are made to hold these microfuge tubes. So, and then what I do as I collect the pollinia and I store them in here, I then record which pollinium goes in each of the individual channels here, and I'll record this. And what I do is I record the plant that it came from, I record the date of collection, and if the pollinia was from a colleague, like what happened yesterday, I'll put their names in there as well. So I have this on, and you can do this on a spreadsheet. I just use a simple note file. You can use it, just a standard document of any kind will work, but just make sure all the information is in there, which is the plant that it's from, date collected, and if it's not from your collection, then who you receive this from. And again, I will then put this whole container in the refrigerator where the pollinia will stay good for about a year. All right, but it's best to use it fresh. As far as the flowers that you choose, it's also best to use the female parent. It's also best to use a fresh flower. These flowers, two flowers here, are a couple of weeks old, and that'll work out just fine. So first of all, what I want to do is get a little close and show you the collection of the pollinia from this flower. Okay, and in order to see what's going on here, what I want to show you is where, first of all, sorry about the shaking, where the anther cap is. And the anther cap in this flower is this white thing right on the end. So this is the anther cap right here, and actually right behind that is where the pollinia are located. And the pollinia are yellow sacs of pollen that we're going to see as we remove this anther cap. Then the way to remove the anther cap is just to lift up. I gotta support this a little bit better while I can still show you what's going on. So you lift up, I don't know if you can tell, but it moves just a little bit, and then the whole anther cap comes off right here. And so you may be able to see this in there. What you can see is right behind, I'm going to get this close, I'm not sure how this is going to focus, but you should be able to see, maybe not, you should be able to see the really yellow pollinia. And these are nice, juicy pollinia here. I'm going to hope I don't drop this. I should also say that the pollinia, I'm going to zoom in a little bit, see if this works. Okay, so I think that's working. So the pollinia here they're yellow, and they're just really juicy, and behind it is this was at the front end of the flower, so that's the anther cap, and that is behind it, and that's where the pollinia are located. I should also say that the pollinia, and actually where you're going to place the pollinia that I harvested yesterday, all those areas are sticky. So normally these things, as the insect goes in there, the pollinia will stick to the insect, and as it goes into the next flower, it then will come off in the flower. So everything is really sticky. So I'm not, even though I have a forceps here, I don't know if I'm grabbing anything. I won't be able to tell for a little bit. But again, the pollinia are located right here. So what I'm going to do is zoom out a little bit, and I'm going to then harvest these guys and put them in this tube. All right, and hopefully I won't lose anything. Usually I do this on a table. I think I'm going to have to. All right, I'm going to have to get a different angle, and I'll show you I'll get close and show you how this is done too. Okay, so this is a little bit of a different angle. The pollinia is still stuck to the anther cap. So what I usually try to, it just came right. They came right out. They are sticky, but you may be able to see what they are here. So these are the see the pollinia right here, they just came out really nicely. And it looks like there are, looks like there's a couple of them. I don't know if there's 4 of them. So what they do is they go in, and I don't know how difficult they'll be to get off of this. And you may be able to tell these guys are a little sticky. Okay, so they stuck to the end here, and they're still on the forceps a little bit. And it looks like there might be 4 pollinia in there, but I can't tell for sure. So what I'll try to do is, for storage, I'll try to get this off the side of the tube, and it just some of it fell off. Okay, so it is all in the bottom of the tube. So I think you can tell the pollinia are right there in the bottom of the tube, and then that tube goes in a certain position in the box, and then that position is recorded so that I can grab it at a future point. But what I'm going to do is come back, readjust again, and we're going to pollinate this flower with some pollinia that I collected yesterday. All right, so this, I just wanted to show you this. This is my actual pollinia box. And so these are, in the bottom here, are all the pollinia that I've been collecting. And so they come in, and I store this in the fridge, and I try not to take it out for very long. But as you can see, they come in different colors. So, and I have to now recheck where this is. J6. All right, so I'm going to go to my pollinia box and get J6, which is right here. So this is the pollinia that I'm going to use to pollinate this flower. And let's zoom in on this flower so you can see what I'm doing. All right, so here, these are the pollinia. I don't know if you can see it very well because of the color. So it's yellow here, and I grabbed onto it with these forceps, and then what you do is you lift the flower up, and it goes right up behind where we actually took. It's right behind, so the anther cap was right here, and the pollinia, when we pollinate, go right back here. So that, I think, is going to be a successful cross. The next thing that we have to do, just for record keeping, is we have to write down what this is. And this was a cross, I should say. This is Gulf Green Hair Pig is what I crossed onto this flower, and this flower is Mishima Victory. These are some nice tags. So these are plastic tags, and I got the information. You can order these from Amazon, but I think you have to buy 1,000 of them at a time, which I did. But a vanilla orchid breeder suggested these, that I buy these types of tags, and I'll put the Amazon link to these tags in the description of the video. So the last thing that you do is you take these tags. Let me zoom out a little bit. You take these tags and you essentially wrap them around and through. So you essentially just kind of hang them on to the flower. Now what's going to happen with this, so I'm putting this on, and then this kind of hangs down below. But what's going to happen with this flower, and the reason that I really don't like doing, look how beautiful this is. The reason I really don't like doing this is because this flower will fade quickly. So even between 1 and 2 days, the flower will kind of collapse. So the petals here will collapse in, the flower itself will dry out, and it really, once the pollination is complete, it really accelerates the senescence of the flower as the ovary, which is the area behind, it's kind of the stem of the flower here, that'll swell, this thing will turn brown, and that's one of the, again, the bad thing about it is that you lose your flower quickly once you have a successful pollination. So we'll see how that goes. I have some a video that I'll put in here of some successful capsules that are being formed. So one of the first capsule, it was these were pollinated maybe around a month ago, and this second set they were pollinated maybe around 2.5 months ago. So you can see what happens is the flower fades very, very quickly, and then you just have to wait 6 months for the you have to wait 6 months. Oh, got my glasses on. So you have to wait 6 months for the capsule to form here, and then it's going to be another, after that it'll be another 6 months to a year before you have some very small seedlings that you can take out of culture. So before you perform a pollination like this and destroy your flower, you need to be committed to this, and this commitment is, number one, for the time that it takes for the capsule to develop. Number two, it's the time that it takes for the seedlings to grow from the capsule, which is, that's another 6 months to a year, so we're about 1.5 years into it now. And then the time from when it comes out of culture to when the plant flowers, and for a cattleya, something like this, it's around 5 years, so 5 additional years. So this is about a 6 to 7 year commitment before you're going to see a flower from the cross that I just made. So you've got to select your parents carefully and know what you're going to get. The parent, what I crossed onto this was a Digbyana, and this actually has the frilly lip right here is from Digbyana, so this has about 10% Digbyana in it. I'll cross onto this another plant that I had that also looks like it's got a pretty frilly lip, big flower, and I'll cross onto that as well. So I'm trying to get, again, big, beautifully fragrant, big fragrant, big lip, colorful is what I'm trying for with all of my orchids. So that's what we'll get with this. I'll hide this in the back of the house so that my wife doesn't see the flowers fade, because she really hates to see that. And then we'll just wait for the seed capsule to form. So I hope you learned how to do the crosses here, and the effort that it takes not to do this, but more to wait for the flowering plant to develop from that cross. So that's all I have for today. If you're interested in learning a little bit more about what I do, please click on the subscribe, and happy propagating.